in March last year, actually, we had AP Africa and NOI polls.
Yeah.
We did a poll on, perceptions of Nigerians regarding COVID-19. And I remember that, obviously, that when we do such polls, we poll like 1,000 people across the country in every state. And 26% of the people polled said that that they believe they won't get COVID-19. So the question now was why? What made you think so? And the top of the list was that they believed that they were children of God.
Well, children of God should not false.
So that's one. And other reasons included that because we drink local herbs, because we're Africans, because of the sun, how hot the sun is in our own part of the world. When we were analyzing the data, what really hit me was, in as much as we have people whose sole intention is to deceive, a lot of people genuinely believe those things.
Exactly.
So that even when they are sharing it, they are not sharing it out of malicious intention. Yeah. It's just that I heard this thing, so let me forward it quickly to my brother so that he too will
stay safe.
Yeah, will stay safe, Which was why I actually decided on that topic of forward this to 10 people. The epidemic of health misinformation, because that is what makes it viral. That, everybody saying, okay, just send it to the next person so that we are all safe. And let's not forget Ebola. Let's not forget that people bathed with salt
and water.
Educated people, PhD holders. So we're not talking about just people who are not as educated, but this disinformation cuts across the society. And I mean, your profession or your occupation, your level of education is really relevant once you believe in such things.
Yeah, I think when we generally talk about health literacy, the first thing that comes to your mind is people in the communities, grassroots and all that. But amongst influential people, politicians, celebrities, some of them believe this thing. And that's why some people even actually forward those messages. For example, if my, say, senior colleague at work or my boss or my pastor sent something, an average Nigerian will feel like, no, my pastor cannot lie now. Yeah. This thing must be true. Coming from my pastor, it has to be true or something.
Yeah.
So, or coming from a lecturer.
And I think that's why this particular information pandemic had the greatest impact, because it was propagated by the learned, the informed, people who are influential, people who have authority, and that's why many people forwarded a lot of these messages. Many people believed. It just goes to show that with great responsibility, with great authority and influence comes a lot of responsibility. If you have a voice, when people have a voice, they have such a great responsibility to confirm the information they get, the information they share, and everything. It was so critical because I saw it many times. The information I got on my family group. Shall we talk about our family groups?
We don't want our family to be every family has it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And now that we have COVID-19 vaccine, and we know some doses have arrived in Nigeria. We're still battling with that, not just in Nigeria. And I think it's very important to make this case that this is not a question of, low and middle income countries and richer countries. Misinformation, disinformation, fake news is a global thing.
Yes.
In fact, in my presentation at MIT, I talked about, one of the televangelists in the US, Jim Bakker, who at that point in time had somebody on his show who was selling a silver solution as a cure for coronavirus. This was as far back as December 2019.
Wow.
In the US. Around the same time in the UK, in Ghana, a pastor was also selling some kind of holy oil that will help prevent you. Just to show you how interconnected the world is as far as good and bad are concerned. And I just felt it was very important to make that case so that people don't keep thinking that once you hear all these bad things, it must be from Africa. It must be from
Remember, I think the former president of the US mentioned something about bleach or disinfectants to cure COVID or something.
Yeah.
And there was a sharp rise in number of people that bought bleach disinfectants, and some of them even ingested it and all that. So the media had to quickly debunk and everything. So even influential people that should know better, some of them do not do their research before actually speaking or saying anything about COVID.
I mean, if now you're talking about influential people, you know, the late Tanzanian president, Magufuli. It's so sad that, you know, from that stance, Tanzania was kind of cut out from, you know, the intervention that the African Union was leading very well. You know, we didn't know what was happening in Tanzania. And I really hope that now that, you know, the vice president has been sworn in, that she will begin to reverse all those things. So that, first of all, let's even know what the true situation is in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea.
No
You know,
numbers.
since, you know, the leadership did not allow global bodies to, you know, to come in whatever form.
Yeah, no, it's so critical. That's why, you know, I think that sometimes a lot of influential people and global leaders do not have the right information. They need to get exposed as much as possible to the right information, to evidence-based research, broken down for them to understand quickly, because there's a lot of information coming at them. There's a lot of information coming at them at the same time. So you just need that. What is right and what is correct, what is the true state of things at this point in time. So because you cannot at the position where you are, you cannot afford to, you know, say what is incorrect, because it affects everybody.
And, you know, Dara, I think one thing you mentioned, that ensuring that whatever you're saying is evidence-based, you know, and for me, Nigeria being a deeply religious country is really very important.
I was going to go to religion as well.
Yeah.
And these are men of influence, not just in Nigeria, but globally. When they say things like that, it kind of makes the work difficult for us.
Yeah.
You know, because the believers are also wondering, who do I believe? Is it this man who has been teaching me, who has really made very important influence in my life, or this person who is saying is a doctor, a public health worker? Who do I believe?
Yeah.
You know, is my man of God going to lie to me? You know, and I think that it's also important that our engagement with these religious leaders and, you know, people of influence generally should be with the intention to educate and let them be the spokespersons.
True.
You know, I'm tired of talking. I want people like Bishop Oyedebo to be talking.
Yeah.
What I should
Because people will listen to them
Yeah.
more. Right, Nigeria is a very religious nation. People trust their pastors more than anybody else. They trust pastors more than the government. And that's another thing. Mistrust in government has, over time, led us, even made it worse during COVID-19, because over time Nigerians have not trusted government. So it's been difficult for government to convince them or tell them something that they will believe. So I think we also need to gradually, it's not going to be a drastic change or anything, but gradually make the government should, I don't know how to put it, but people need to trust the government more, because now they said if government is doing something, they'll say, they don't believe them. The vaccines are coming from the government. They don't trust the government, so they wouldn't take it.
Yeah, exactly.
So those are the kind of things I think that we need to find a way to build trust amongst Nigerians.